What's going on, everybody? So lovely to see you again 2 weeks in a row. Listen, there's big news in the house right now. All right. So if you've been following me for a while, you know, one of the biggest struggles that I have right now in my house is the internet. Uh, won't go the whole story, but basically, we've been dropping connections, losing connections for like 2 months now. My internet provider was very gracious enough to come out the other day and they installed a backup modem. So I now have two modems in my house powering the internet. So in case my main modem goes down, I have a backup modem. It should keep us online at all times through wind and storms. And as long as we have power, I think we'll be okay. So I appreciate you guys again tuning in this week, as we missed the week before last due to some, some internet problems. There's always tech problems, but tonight we're going to actually continue talking about what we started last week. We are discussing unusual options activity, unusual volume, basically any alert that you might get that signifies there's a move possibly coming. We began this last week, and I was explaining this was one of my this is the main resource that I probably use in order to find the contracts that I'm playing. If you're new to the chat, let me just say welcome. Also, if you are not a subscriber, make sure you click subscribe, click the bell so you receive notifications. It also enables you to join the chat. You can give feedback, ask questions, and things like that. We are a very interactive show. We are trying to create a place that you can come in and ask questions and get answers. And we're not going to these real extreme advanced strategies. We are just talking about options from the standpoint of let's make it practical and let's kind of adapt it for everybody that we can. So real quickly, my name is Brad. I am the host. I am a full-time options trader. I primarily am a day trader. I am a scalper of option contracts. I am not holding till expiration. I am not holding to exercise. My goal with options is to day trade them. I do swing trade contracts, weeks or two at a time, but primarily what I'm doing on a daily basis is I am scalping options. So that is why I am a big fan of these unusual options alerts. Now, if you are new to options trading, let me just kind of go over, because again, we do this every week. We always talk about, we want to make sure that we're not, talking above, not talking over your head. We're not trying to get all advanced and technical and stuff like that. Our goal is to give you resources and things that you can take with you throughout the trading week to make yourself a better options trader. So I am a scalper, like I said. So these alerts are something that I use on a consistent basis. I will say that if you are not able to monitor your positions very frequently, and if you are, if you're trying to get involved with options trading for the first time, let's just say, you are wondering where you should start as far as how to play or what to focus on, or because there's a lot you really need to learn when it comes to options trading. But for the most part, you just have to get the direction right if you're trying to be as basic as possible. But as you sort of study options more, you learn to come like that. There are a lot of things behind this option contract that's driving the price and stuff like that. But you need to figure out what exactly the options trader that you are going to be. And scalping is one of those strategies that, again, it might not be for you. So as you're listening to this, please learn how to adapt it onto your strategy. And I try to make it as clear as possible when I'm talking about things that I would do from a scalp perspective. And then I also talk about some of the things that I would do from the perspective of if I'm swinging a contract, let's say 3 or 4 weeks away. So let's go over a couple of things real quick. I want to talk about, basically, I want to go through some of the more unusual alerts and talk about kind of like basically what the trigger was and how I would have played it, and basically like what you can do to mimic a move like this, and how you can profit on it. So basically what I do is, again, I'm in front of my computer all day long. So I am seeing alerts come in real time. To me, that is something that I am using in my, my resource, my tool belt, if you will. I am playing these alerts because I'm in front of my screens all day long. So these are, this is adapted to my strategy and to my trading system. You are not going to be able to just blindly pick an unusual options alert and follow it and automatically profit. and you will come to learn, more about why. But let's just talk about from the perspective of you are a options trader. You're looking to expand how you're playing options. You want to basically figure out ways that you can find new tickers to get involved with, and what exactly you can do with these unusual alerts. So an unusual alert is something that comes across through a service. Basically, there's multiple services that you can use when it comes to finding out about unusual activity. There are, we won't promote one or the other. I use Benzinga Pro. That I feel is the most reliable, and I feel the Benzinga Pro Squawk is my number one favorite resource that I have is the Benzinga Pro Squawk. It's on probably still now. It's on from morning up till sundown at night, and it is my favorite resource. Again, all bias aside, I really do use it all day long. I absolutely love it. And so when you get an unusual alert, whether it comes through Benzinga or whether it comes through the other platforms that we all know the different platforms and things like that. Get this alert and you're thinking, well, what do I do now with it? So for example, let me find one that will be popular today. Let's look at SPCE and let's go to volume and let's see here. We want to look at the what was the most volume to kind of signify a big move that might have been coming. So SPCE was. Let me actually pull it up on chart for you real quick. SPCE, of course, they had big news today that if you are crazy enough to want to do this, oh boy, listen, I'm afraid of heights, like bad, like I really am. So that means I don't like bridges. I don't like heights. I don't like being. I guess it's the easiest way to describe it. But I also like flying. Like I really don't like flying. And so then the third level of being that is like going to space. I have no idea what in the world you would have to like place on the other end of that flight in order for me to get onto the flight to go. Like, and I think about like who in like these people are bidding on like spots that you can go up with Jeff Bezos, and you can pay millions and millions of dollars. And no, but regardless, the stock responded really well to the news today, which is encouraging because kind of like a tongue-in-cheek joke. The markets are sort of stabilizing a little bit. I think what's happening now is we're starting to see a little bit more of response. Now, let me just say there's a lot of stocks that are still overvalued. There's a lot of stocks that are just trading back and forth in ranges and stuff like that. I'm not talking about anything that way. What I mean though is when a stock gets good news, it responds by what? Going up, and not only going up, but staying up a little bit instead of just spiking and then going right back down. And I'm joking about that, but we are starting to see a little bit more of that. We're not in the old pump and dump penny type schemes. I'm not talking anything about that, but what I mean is like when a legitimate company gets news and responds to it in this way, it's nice to see. So SPCE was one of the stocks that had very, very, very high activity on options today. Now, let's take a look at today's expirations and see the volume here is unreal. Oh man. Okay, so SPCE. I want to try to find the one that was the highest volume today on so unusual. It would have been this one. Okay, so the the July next Friday, the $49 call. There was 9 point. How much was that? 9,700. Okay, so here's a great example of this. Perfect. This worked out really well. Okay, so the alert on we're looking at the $49 call for SPCE, the July 2nd expiring call, the $49 call. The alert that went out was at 350. So that would have been, this was at right at the end of the day. Am I reading that correctly? Yeah, this was 350 today. And then right after that, there was another for the $50 put. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so the $49 call on SPCE at 350 today, there was an alert that somebody bought 9,700 contracts. And as you can see, the $49 call had 400 approximately before that. This is what you call a okay. This is just like when a market maker, or when a whale, if you will, wants to listen. They're doing one of two things here. Basically, let's make it real simple. When you see these unusual alerts, they're either one, anticipating that move to happen, or two, trying to throw off retail investors. That's the two things that you can take with these. So that's why I say when you get an alert, you can't just automatically jump in on it, because you have to you have to if there's a sweep of 2-cent contracts, that's real suspicious. When you get into these calls that are, at the time, the $49 call, the ask was $9.90. So that was, did it go down since then to 49? No, 935. I'm sorry. So it actually finished down a little bit, but either way, the higher the premium and the larger the overall dollar value of the order, that will help you to determine if this alert is telling you the right direction or not. Okay, so if you look at SPCE, for example, that was one of the bigger ones. But what's interesting here is that the amount of volume on the calls around this 9.74. So that was unique due to the fact of, there was a low open interest. And so the volume spike that's how you see a lot of unusual option activity, is they take the overall volume of the call or the put, then they compare it to what the open interest is. Open interest is the amount of contracts that have not been exercised yet or have been sold. They're always a day behind, just to let you know. So the unusual alert for today would have been based upon activity from yesterday. Open interest, not volume, though. So it's not volume to volume, it's open interest to volume. What that means is, again, it compares the amount of contracts that are already opened to the amount of contracts that were just purchased. And when that number, the amount that is purchased, when that number is real high, when it's unusually high, you get an alert. And that can tend to, not always, again, it's not perfect, that can tend to help you if you are able to get in at the right time. Now, there are also, as I said, there's also going to be times that you try to get one of these alerts and you follow it, and what happens? It immediately goes against you. Okay, so that's what you have to make sure that, once you enter this trade, okay, if you are entering into a trade that is one of the weekly options that is expiring the same week, I don't recommend playing same days if you're just starting out on options. But if you're playing weekly contracts and you are on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday, and that option is expiring on Friday, you are automatically going into the mindset, I am day trading this. Okay, you don't want to, first off, you don't want to deal with, if you get one pump, okay, you have one chance on a lot of these. These are not that you're not. Again, some of the times that you get unusual alerts, or some of the times that you're getting some of this information, it can signify that you're swinging contracts out. Let's all agree that that's absolutely happening. I personally am talking about more of a day trade, of quicker, of I'm not worried about swinging things. I want to get this alert and I want to profit as much as I can based on what I think is going to happen. Okay. And now with the unusual alerts, again, you are having to decide what your plan is before you even start looking at any of these alerts, because basically anybody who is trading needs to have some sort of a trading system. How are you producing the tickers you play on a daily basis? you have a couple of options. And for those that are new, let's just take this from the perspective of I am a brand new options trader, and I'm coaching you on how you can get yourself set up to the point of using unusual alerts like this. Okay. So the first thing that you need to do as a new options trader is to figure out what you are going to do with the contracts themselves. What I mean by that is, are you day trading? Are you scalping? Are you long-term swinging? Are you using them to hedge? Are you going to actually exercise? You need to answer a lot of these questions first, so you have a plan in place before you even begin to trade options. Because what the problem with options trading, and I'll be 100% honest, the problem with options trading is that most people assume that every options contract that you play is a 300 or a 400% runner. Obviously, we know that that's not true. Okay. The goal that you should have as a options trader is a more consistent getting on base instead of always trying to swing for home run. Okay. Yeah. Great to hit home runs. We hit home runs every once in a while. You can get on a real low contract and it run like 400, 600, 800%, whatever. You have a really good payday off that. That's absolutely true. We do that all the time from the perspective of these like little base hits. Like those are what like I celebrate on a consistent basis though with the people that I mentor. And that's what we're trying to do, like as training you to be an options trader. Like we're not trying to sell a course. I'm not trying to sell you an alert system. I'm not trying to upcharge you or anything like that. I'm basically trying to explain to you what from a like a legitimate, like everyday type of an options trader guy. Like that's who I am. I'm a full-time options trader, but like I'm, we're not. There's this perception about options traders that you are like some bajillionaire, or you only trade for like 10 minutes a day, or like there's just like a bad culture on the internet right now of what it means to be a quote unquote full-time trader, or a trader for your job, if you will. And listen, there are, you've got to have the skills. Like even if you're not, like if you are just stepping into trading and you're like you have dreams of one day doing it full time and stuff like that, like that's a great, that's fantastic. But make sure that like at the beginning of your journey, as you are stepping into this long marathon, if you will, of learning to become a better trader, develop some foundational stuff for your trading system and put it on paper. And so even if you are just like right now, you're processing how to like, okay, how am I supposed to design an options trading list? Like, how do I find the ones? How do I learn all of this stuff? The best thing to do is just to jot it down and make an actual trading strategy that you have on paper. So number one, identifying the trading that you are going to do. And then number two, you need to figure out what type of options you want to trade. Okay. So primarily, I am buying calls, buying puts, and then selling them at a higher premium. Okay. Whatever side I'm playing, that's what I do. I don't get too advanced with options trading. I do some verticals and I'll do some credit spreads and I've done some stuff like that before. But again, my system for trading options is I am just buying and selling. That's my goal. So with what I am focused on, one of my main watch lists that I have is high options volume. That's all that I can myself with, because as an options scalper, I am looking for momentum, just like I'm looking for momentum in the breakout stock in the morning when I would trade commons. It's the same, you want to go where the volume is. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to go where the volume is. And so a combination of the unusual alerts that I watch literally all day long, and then my watch lists of the high options tickers. And the reason why we play the high volume tickers is pretty straightforward. That's where other people are playing. And my goal is not to try to reinvent the wheel. I'm following where the volume goes. Like that's as simple as I can be. I'm going where the volume is. And so again, obviously we are not saying that these are like perfect alerts, and they certainly are not. But just to kind of give you a quick overview of what some of the options that you could have played today, this is just based upon high option volume, SPCE, of course, Pelter, Wish, GSAT, GSAT, or Ford, SNDL, Torch is a big one right now. Rig, CLF, AMC, like these are all, I mean, it does not take much to, you could follow the volume and you can get yourself involved in some plays. Like you really can set yourself up for success based upon volume alerts and based upon what, again, you're not going to do perfect by all means, but if you're trying to set yourself up as a beginner of an options trader, don't try to do some strategy that's way over your head. Set yourself up for success by following volume. Like, listen, like that's what I do on a daily basis. Like I'm not trying to do anything crazy. Like I've really sort of like, okay, so I've been trading now and primarily options for 8 months, I want to say. When I sort of redesigned myself as a trader, I changed from like a penny stock, the COVID plays, the biotech plays of later, and I was always like under $5. I just liked those tickers. I played OTC stocks before and things like that, and I loved doing them, and I did well on them. But when I decided that I was going to be an options trader, that's what started to make sense for me as a trader. That was one of the moments where I started to feel more comfortable in front of the trading screens. Was when I designed a strategy that works for me, and when I really took it seriously and told myself that, like, listen, like I this is my system. I'm going to own it. I'm going to know it. I am going to make this my own. So that's what I've decided to do as an options trader, is to follow the volume. And so one of the things that I recommend doing for traders is if you are trying to develop that system of yours, like of how you're going to get your options, go and find the options volume from today and add all the top tickers in there. Pull out, I mean, because they're pretty consistent. Okay. Now, one of the things that you also want to look into is IV index percentage, which is this number right here. These are the percentages based upon how the underlying contracts respond, how quickly they can respond. They can really spike up or down just as equally as fast. Okay. And so something that has like a 265%, that means something crazy happened with that stock today, which caused the IV percentage to go up really high. AMC 211%. That's pretty average. AMC bats around 160 to 270, I want to say. So that's pretty average for AMC. You have to be careful though with AMC. AMC is now, I don't want to say this. A lot of the activity that you're getting alerted about on AMC has been happening for a couple of weeks now. AMC is sort of stuck in this range. We're trying to figure out. Well, again, I'm not in AMC any longer. I've moved on. Wish everyone the best with AMC, but I've decided to move on. It's stuck in a range right now. It's trying to figure out what exactly it wants to do. You're going to get volume alerts on AMC, and you have to realize too that like that's where the masses of the masses are. So these swings can happen like real quickly. Like AMC has 77.3 million in volume, and they have a 211% IV index. That is, that's the other thing you have to remember. Like, listen, like we want to, I don't want to say this. We want to make sure that we are, as an options trader, that we are setting ourselves up for success, and we are trying to always be on the right side of the play. But like we also have to remember too that the play can go against us really easily, and so that's not often talked about options trading. A lot of times we see these gains and we post screenshots, and that's a fun. And, it's really cool to show buddies like a big runner that we hit, and it's fun. It's just you nailed a trade and it's good. It should make you feel good. But that trade and they do, because I experience them. Not all the time. I've certainly managed to become really. I hate losses and I hate when trades go against me. My system, basically what I've done is I'm capturing small profits very quickly, multiple times a day. So yeah, I'm missing out on some of these big runners and stuff like that. However, I'm booking profits and I'm cutting my losses. I mean, just so quickly. I get out, with my type of playing the contracts. I know rather quickly almost if this is going against me, or if it's something I'm going to try to let it develop a little bit higher. My average, I don't even know what my average time in an option contract, but I bet it's under an hour. I think throughout the trading week, it's probably under an hour. Um, Again, and sometimes I'm holding for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. So like I'm not just playing quick flips. Like there are times that I am holding contracts because, for example, the some of the stocks, if you're wondering like, well, what do you mean like some like these like there's you're talking about like playing day trading ones that are really quick to or close to expiration. So on some of the stocks they only have what's called monthly expiration, and monthly expirations are the third Friday of every month. There's also some of the more high volume tickers that are called weeklies, and weekly options expire that week. That's where you see a lot of your day trading. That's where you see a lot of these big alerts. That's where you see a lot of these big swings, and that's where you see a lot of the, if you are looking to become an options trader from the day trading or scalping perspective, you are definitely concerned with the weekly contracts. The monthlies take a little bit longer to develop sometimes. But that's another thing that you need to know about options trading is what are you going to focus on? Like SPCE, for example, SPCE has weekly contracts. You can see right here the W. That W signifies that it's a weekly contract. And then the other dates are monthlies. Again, these ones far out here are monthlies. This one is a monthly. It's always the third Friday. So that's another thing that you need to make sure that you understand when you are trading options. Am I going to focus in on weeklies or the monthlies? My advice to you is to stay away from weekly options. Listen, it's not like you're not going to like completely like it just they can go against you so quickly. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And your goal as a trader every day is defend your capital. Like you have X amount of dollars, that's your trading capital. Your goal is to defend that. And on certain days, you're not going to add to it, but you need to set yourself up to not be reducing from it. Is kind of the most important tip that you can have on a bad trading day. Is not try to force trades, but listen, like that money is already in your account. Defend it. Okay. And so setting yourself up to extend that capital as much as you can is rather important. And weekly options are tough. Okay. So that's another thing that you have to remember. Like when you're developing that strategy, yeah, because you could just try to hit home runs all the time, and you could just try to get in on these penny priced contracts and things like that, and literally just cross your fingers and hope that it spikes. But all you're really doing at that point is just gambling. You are literally just playing a scratch off ticket with the options markets, and 99.9% of the time you are going to lose. You are going to have contracts that go against you. And that's another thing that you have to remember too with options. They expire completely worthless. And so if you're holding a contract and you're watching it go down and stuff, you can get out at a certain time, but when those bids go away, your contract is expiring worthless. And you have to remember that too, because like stocks, like, they naturally don't go down to zero unless something major happens. So you have time to get out. But there's a reason like why people are holding options, because they want to get that 300% runner. They want to get, and especially with unusual alerts, okay? Because you can get in. I will not lie to you. Like I'm not going to try to paint some fairy tale picture. These can go against you very quickly. These, you can take a position and you could think that you've got it right, and you've got your levels, and you see that you're following the volume. You could really think that you got it right, and you don't, and it goes against you. Okay. However, with that being said too, there's a lot of times I want to talk about like Sandal, for example. SNDL is a ticker that uses, it is algoed horribly. It trades in a range. It trades a ton of volume all day long, but the volume that it is trading, it's not like actual retail. Like it's heavily favored based upon algos and based upon computers. And when you get an alert on Sandal, something is going on, okay? Because Sandal is one of those ones that it trades pretty consistent in the same range. And if it gets a surge in volume, there's a reason why typically. So you can get in on a sandal contract, and they are, let's see what they are at right now. July 7 or July 16, 21 day to expiration, $1 calls on sandal are going for 10 cents. And that's literally one step out of the money. That's like 3 cents out of the money, technically. You can get these for 10 cents, and 8.5 thousand were sold today. So there's, some volume behind it. However, if you look at the volume from the other ones, there's 15.6K for the options that expired today. Going on the second next week, there's 21K, there's 3K, there's 3K, there's almost 2K. There's a lot of volume on these. Okay. So when you see a ticker like Sandal, okay, and you get an alert, there's a reason why there's an alert coming, because there's already so much volume to begin with. You have to remember that these alerts, they're unusual for a reason. And so on a stock like Sandal, as you're developing yourself as an options trader, getting better, and you're trying to sort of hone in on your skills, if you will. One of the things that you're going to develop is like a sense of knowing what that stock is doing without even having to go very far. Sandal is one of those ones that I caught because I saw the alert and I knew what was happening. We got in a couple of weeks ago. This was actually, oh gosh, I don't even remember now, a month ago maybe. We got in on an alert from the squawk on a Sandal call that was getting unusual activity. The volume spiked on it. We got in at like 2 cents, 3 cents per contract. And as you can imagine, 2 cents, 3 cents per contract, I'm not playing one contract. I'm playing, quite a lot of contracts. And so that contract, when we sold, was at 13 cents. So that's an 11-cent return per contract on a contract that was 2 cents to begin with. And I'm playing, you can do the math. There's a pretty substantial gain on a contract. Now, why was that something that I knew, I kind of anticipate happening? Okay. Number one, Sandal is a stock, like I said, that trades in a pretty specific range or a pretty specific amount of volume. And so if it increases, something is happening. That means there's more, the flow that is coming into it. There's got to be a reason why. And so what happens generally, not always, but with a stock like Sandal, if you get volume surge in that direction, the stock is generally going to trend up. Now, with the market being a little bit more, you can pretty much line up all these Reddit and WSE tickers on a daily basis and watch them and kind of rotate through them as you can scalp them and listen, you can do good. No, that was not in a day trade, John, just to let you know. I held that contract, I believe it was 2 days, or we had the alert like a day before. We swung it overnight, and then the next day, that's when it really spiked. It started its spike after hours and then led into the next day. So it was an actual, it was an overnight trade. I know that much. Was not a day trade though. That's a very, very, very rare type of play. That is not a, that's not usual. These are unusual alerts. That Sandal one was an unusual alert for sure. There are, gosh, let me even try to think how. There has been many of times where I've jumped in on these tickers and I've been able to capitalize. But again, it's not that I'm just blindly going into a ticker like this to trade. Give me 1 second. I have to adjust my camera. It's bugging me really badly. Sorry about that. There's my camera goes into autofocus mode and it follows me around everywhere that I go, and it was trying to latch onto something else. I did go out of focus. So anyways, so with a ticker like Sandal though, that's something that, so basically when an alert comes in, I get my alert and then I quickly am deciding, is this something that I'm just going in on right now? Or am I going to do my technical analysis and things like that? And 80% of the time, the ticker or the alert that I receive, then allows me to check them on the other contracts to do my charting, things like that. And then I enter the trade if I decide to. But with Sandal, this is one of those, they're going to get an alert and you need to be able to just pull the trigger quickly, because sometimes you only going to have a very short amount of time. And I mean, I'm talking about minutes. I'm not talking about like days. I'm talking about minutes to try to hit one of these alerts. You have to make sure that when you're going in on an alert like this, or on an unusual activity alert that you receive, your goal is not to hit out of the park. Your goal is to capture you want to maximize your capital, number one, but number two, you want to be able to capitalize on movement. You don't want to set yourself up for, like I'm trying on one contract for a 500% move. You're not going to do that. Don't set yourself up that way. You want to basically maximize the amount of contracts you can buy, which increases the delta, which will then cause the option contract to respond more rapidly if the stock spikes. Because a lot of times on these alerts, that's what's happening. Like you're literally getting one candle. You're getting maybe 2, 3. It depends on what like. Depends on the ticker, depends on the time of the day, all of that and everything. There's a lot more. I'm just sort of, broad brush over top of this to try to give you the practical things to sort of put in your arsenal. But with an alert, depending on so many different things, determines, if it's a penny stock, like for example, like there are times that we get alerts on these penny stocks, and I think of like DGLY, for example. DGLY is one of these meme penny stocks that we've been paying now for, gosh, I mean, what feels like 15 years. But it's one of these stocks that every once in a while, it drops a news alert, and it causes a quick volume spike. And with stock that I don't even, it was $1.87 the last time I checked it. What is it now? It's $1.88. $1.88. It's algoed to just look. Let's take a look at how ugly this is. This will be fun. Okay, so DGLY. Let's look on the 3-minute chart with no extended hours. Look at that algoed. My goodness, that is ugly. And if you don't know what algoed means, algoed. See how everything looks like a barcode. See like how everything's in this like nice little pattern, like it's just the highs and the lows are real consistent. That's algo. That's what a ticker that's traded constantly by the algos. That's what a chart looks like. You generally want to avoid those. However, over time, you can see that there has been, it can break out of the this, I remember this day. So, okay. So old trading story from the old boring old person guy. I remember this day right here. The day before, this was the first DGLY day. This was back last June 2020. It opened at 346 and it closed at 534. The next day, it had a range of 451 all the way up to 707. DGLY's 4 a.m. to 4:07 a.m. play was one of my greatest trades I've ever made in my life. It was strange because first off, I don't get up at 4 a.m. anymore. Well, I might already be up at 4 a.m., but it's not to trade on Webull. Although Webull is my second favorite platform. When I would trade commons, I loved the pre-market. I absolutely listen, like when I first started trading, I had really gotten into this. I've been studying trading since 2010, and I've done paid trading, and I've read the books, and I've had the passion. I've had a foundation about it, but really taking it over these last few years, really taking it seriously, and working on my craft, and I just remember certain times of becoming the trader that I am today, where it's just it's fun to look back upon this chart, like DGLY. I can remember that I was not even out of bed. That's how confident you could get if you man, there was just that those months of that market, man. I'm just wringing my hands because it was a lot of fun. it was a lot of fun. But those days, they're not necessarily over. There's not this that we're not going to have times like that. Honestly, like, you can still make money in the market. Like, that's what people have to remember. Like I think a lot of times, like, we're seeing these AMC, GameStop movements, and they're becoming so huge. And it takes you like 5 seconds on YouTube, and everybody is talking about AMC. It seems like. And those like things like are great. Absolutely. People are making like life-changing amounts of money, and we all should be supporting that, and we should all be rooting for people that are holding. However, we also need to realize, though, that once the AMCs and the GameStops are done, we still have other stocks that we can make money off of. Just because it's not this quote unquote meme stock does not necessarily mean that you are going to not be able to make money. You know what I'm saying? And so it's great to sort of get in on these runners, and don't get me wrong, I've hit a bunch of these runners and stuff like that, and I've had my fun with games, I've had my fun with AMC. I still have a list where I get alerts when Express or Cost or any of the other ones, when those start to run a little bit. Like, I love playing those stocks. However, you need to realize, to develop yourself into a trader is more than just hitting the low side and selling at the top. Because it's not always that easy. It's not always guaranteed. It's not always just as simple as, well, I got an alert, so I'm going to follow that alert. I'm going to buy low, and I'm going to be able to high. It's not necessarily how that always works, as we know. We don't guarantee profits. We don't guarantee that's going to be easy. You might know somebody that got in on Dogecoin and they made millions of dollars, and here you are grinding out Monday through Friday for your little 10 to 20% profits and stuff like that. But listen, 10 to 20% profits build up over time is much more of a dream than winning a $1 million or whatever home run on a meme coin. Because listen, you can learn to trade. You can learn to, okay, so what is your system going to be? Are you going to use support and resistance? You can learn about reading the tape. You can learn about volume and price analysis. That's my favorite thing. So me, trader, from a technical analysis perspective, I have sort of morphed myself over the year. I've gone from trading an EMA crossover to now I am playing support and resistance levels, and playing fib levels, and playing the regression channels. That's what I'm looking for, but I'm also trading the tape. I am a huge fan of level 2 action. I'm a huge fan of price action and volume analysis. And I think those things are what the young traders need to learn: price action and volume analysis, support and resistance, how to actually find those on charts. And number 3, being able to follow the vol. And those things are going to sustain you as a trader for a long time. Because again, don't beat yourself up, man. When you hear your buddy, he got in on Doge and he made a lot of money, and you're struggling, you're trying your best. Don't let that get frustrating to you, because there's so many of those people that have done that. Yeah, we could have, I could tell you, I was in on this stock at pennies, and now it's 20, 30, 40 times that. Yeah, there's those stories that we have. Don't let that discourage you, and don't let it dictate you as a trader moving forward. Because again, if you want to get better at trading, there is no better time to be alive than right now. There are so many free resources available to you. You could literally, from sun up to sundown, while you are breathing, you could learn about trading all day long. You have to make that commitment, though. You just have to say to yourself, I want to get better at trading. I really want to get better at trading. And what is going to help you get better at trading? Like identifying what you need to work on, identifying your strengths, identifying your weak, being honest with yourself. What am I weak at in trading? For me, as an example, I had to come to the conclusion of certain areas of my trading that I was bad at. If I was going to continue to be a trader full time, if I was going to continue to work on this, I needed to get to an understanding of where I'm not good at as a trader. And even if my buddies are trading this way, I need to recognize that it does not fit my style. So that's how I've sort of, over the last couple of years now, I've really been able to mold myself into the trader that I've tried to become, as I've watched other people that are traders, if that makes sense. Let me take this guy's question here, Rick. I had 6 call options of AGNC that I purchased a few days ago, set to expire 7/16. I sold 3 and still have 3. Should I exercise and keep AGNC? It's a good stock, or sit on it and then sell? Let's take a look at AGNC. I'm not familiar with the chart off the top of my head. AGNC. The 7/16s. Somebody said never exercise. I agree. I'm of the mindset I never exercise my contracts. I just that the sell and collect premium, because he's exactly right, or she. Sorry. Um, my goal with trading contracts, like I said at the beginning, I've never exercised a contract. I never will exercise a contract. Somebody said, so you trade the stocks that fits your principle. Do you any that you trade daily, like Apple? Yeah, there are ones that I trade on a consistent basis daily. Right now, the main ones that I am focusing on as a, let me try to pull up my list here if I have it. The main ones that I'm playing are main plays. SPY, I play on a daily basis. Triple Q, I play on a daily basis. Tesla, I monitor on a daily basis. NOK, I monitor on a daily basis. DKNG, I monitor. NNDM, Fubo, Lowe's, Microsoft, IWM, HD, Roku. Chewy is on that list now. I'm sorry, I'm just shouting out a bunch of tickers I know, but we were talking about which ones that I play. Those I actually, more so than not, trade the same consistent pool of tickers. I'm pretty honed in on what tickers so I have real bad ADHD, and I mean, like, literally, like I diagnosed and I deal with that. I had to come to the realization that, like, listen, like, I love scanning for stocks. Like there are people that they like to play slot machines, or they like to go on hikes, or they like to go to the beach. I like to scan for stocks. Okay, that's what really gets me up in the morning. I love ring scans. Like, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 6 monitors right here in my setup in front of me. I put trade ideas on 6 screens and put the Benzinga scanner on 6 screens and just watch them all day long. The problem, though, with that, as you can imagine, is it's impossible to follow every single stock that is moving one way or the other. So I had to come to the realization, listen, like, that was hurting me as a trader. Like, that was something I enjoyed to do. However, it was causing me so much anxiety. It was causing me not to focus in on tickers. I had to literally stop doing that. So now, yeah, I listen to, and you're probably thinking, you just told me you listened to. So let me clarify. I'm not running scans in order to find my plays. I already know where my plays are coming from, and they're not really, I'm just watching the order flow. It's a lot different than it's a lot different than me running a scan for an EMA crossover or a wedge breakout or something. Like, I don't do that. I watch the order flow all day long for the options trading, absolutely. And a lot of my plays, most of my plays, come from that. However, my primary trades are on a watch list that I create every weekend. I do 2 lists. One's my main plays, where the tickers that I've played always and will play always are in that list. And then number 2, I make a list of about 50 stocks of the highest options volume. Those are the ones that I'm looking through. So let's say, for example, as I'm watching the order flow come throughout the day, and I'm just not seeing any trades that I like per my strategies and things like that. What I have done on my my watch list, I have alerts set up. So when a stock might bounce off its bottom support, or if it breaks out its top resistance, I'll get an alert that happens, and then that allows me to jump on that chart real quickly. I can get an option in there, but I'm not running scans based upon, like, technicals, or I'm not running scans on, like, that again, that's me as an options trader. That is what my strategy is. Okay, might not work for you, works for me. If you want to scan to your heart content, believe me, I would love to do so. However, I had to admit to myself that I had a problem. The first step to overcoming your problem is admitting that you have said problem. I like to scan for stocks, and I need to stop doing that. So I don't do that any longer. However, you take little peeks here every once in a while. I run the Benzinga stuff all day, but I run that differently. So I'm very actively involved in the trading community. I'm so do you have a limit on the number of plays you have at any time or no? If I'm scalping a contract, I am only scalping one at a time. I'm not day trading or scalping. My primary entry on a stock is to scalp. So I'm only doing one of those at a time. However, I also do have, I have plenty of, I have plenty of longer expiration plays that I also have in my portfolio. But my active daily basis trading is scalping, and so I'm only scalping one at a time. To answer your question, that was a great question. That is something else that you need to figure out. Like, are you going to be able to maintain? And when I talk about scalping, I'm talking about like based upon candles, I'm based upon price action and things like that. I'm not talking about scalping over the course of a full trading day. Like I'm talking about being on top of your trade as much as you possibly can. And so I limit myself to one. I do one a day, or I feel not just one a day. I'm sorry, I do one at a time per every day. I mean, I trade multiple times a day, but I am focused in on one ticker at a time. Real quick, we've got over 300 people here in the chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is fantastic. We're about to wrap up. We got about 7 minutes left. So I really quickly want to drop some information in the chat for you guys so you're able to connect with me more on a daily basis. First off, my name is Brad. We are here every Friday night live on Zynga at 5 p.m. Eastern time. If you are interested in looking for if you want to connect with me more, if you want to start to, I am not charging for any courses. I'm not trying to upsell you on anything. I am a part of a free Discord. We have around approximately 1,000 members. We would love for you to join us if you are interested in doing that. My trading website is called tradinggrounds.live, TRADING grounds.live. And you are able to connect with me through all of my social media platforms there, my Trading View account, and an invite to our Discord channel if you're interested in joining. We're a free community. We are not charging for private room. We don't do anything like that. We're a free community. Come out, come join us, trade with us. We are. Robert, what's up? Thank you. Appreciate the shout out. Alonzo says, did you say you pick weekly or monthly? I mainly play weeklies. That's what I'm scalping. However, I do also play monthlies. You can scalp monthly contracts. It's a little bit it's a little bit harder. The volume is not as there as frequently. They don't seem to spike as much. But again, if you play Tesla monthly options, they're moving because you're playing Tesla. So it doesn't really matter at that point. You just have to make sure. Somebody said you still wait 30 minutes for your first scalping position. Pretty much. I don't really take any trades. So I no longer play at 9:30. Okay. Coding with Gotham says, great session. Thank you. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. We'll be joining. Thank you guys so much for your kind words. Appreciate that very much. I don't, again, personally, let's I'm talking, me, I do not trade at 9:30. Okay. There's too much motion at 9:30. There's too much motion at 9:35. There's too much motion at 9:40, 9:40. I'm no trade will happen in my before 9:45. And that's even I like to be 10. I like to give it a half an hour. And some people are going to say, you miss breakouts. No, you don't. Believe me. When you develop a system of what you are trading and you know your system, you can literally trade from open till close. Okay. You get the highest volumes at 9:30 to 10:15. Absolutely. I agree. But that's not always the only time that you're getting volume spikes. So set yourself up for success as a trader And as a new trader, speaking to the new traders, do not trade the open. Plain and simple. Do not trade 9:30 to 10. Just do not do it. There is there's too much. You can get fooled a lot at 9:30. You can get there's some weird candles. Don't trade 9:30 on a 3-minute chart either. Don't like you might want to one of the questions as I would browse through Reddit, people always want to know about like scalping from like the 1-minute and 3-minute charts. These things they're crazy. Like do this on Monday, okay? And you're probably thinking, well, why should I not trade the 9:30? At Monday morning at 9:30, put Tesla on the 3-minute chart and watch the option chain. Watch option chain move and watch the candles move. Okay, that's what you're fighting against at 9:30 in the morning when you are trading. And again, yeah, somebody said 9:30 is not 9:30 is not a universal time. I apologize. I'm talking about market open. So whatever time zone you're in, Eastern time, market opens 9:30. That's when the universal, the standard time or whatever you want to call it. Yes, I understand people are trading from different time zones. So whatever time is your market open, that corresponds to 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. I recommend not trading. That's just it's tough. It's really, especially some of these bigger like the Teslas and stuff. Like Teslas, like listen, like I have a thing about Tesla. Like you can go broke, you can go bankrupt, or you can go buy yourself a mansion on one candle on Tesla because it literally happened that quickly. It can go. That's why I just don't get involved with trading 9:30. I don't have a reason to. Let me say that. Again, I told you guys before, I'm missing the big home runs, absolutely. But I've done my fair share. I've done my fair share. My trading system is I'm going to trade Monday through Friday, and my profit is going to be 2K or 4K or 1K or whatever it is that week. My profit is going to come from Monday through Friday trading. I'm able to focus in that much. So I've designed my system to, I don't have to do all my trading on Monday morning. I don't have to do all my trading on Thursday afternoon. I can trade throughout the week. And so therefore I've developed my system that works with that. Again, I'm lucky enough, that I have that ability to do so. Take that into account as you are setting yourself up to be a trader. We are just about out of time. Okay. So I'm going to stop there. I will give you guys a chance to ask any quick questions as producer AB has taken his last sip of coffee and he is headphoned ready, and he will probably be stopping in here real quick to say goodnight to everybody. But if anybody has any questions before we wrap up here, listen, I'd love to answer them. If not, no big deal. Next Friday, we'll be back again, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Again, the link is tradinggrounds.live. Tradinggrounds.live is my website. It'll get you access to all of my platforms. What am I even on anymore? I don't remember. My Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, our Discord channel. I stream throughout the week on my YouTube. Tyler says subscribed and liked. Awesome content, brother. Thank you. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate that very much. Your kindness is greatly appreciated. John says thank you. Thank you, John. Appreciate your questions. Somebody said, what's the most you spend on long calls? Motorist, do you mean what's the most premium I'll pay for a contract on a long call? Or what's the total dollar amount that I risk on positions? Jess says, always love your show. Thank you. Appreciate that. We are lucky to be paired up with Benzinga, the best platform for retail traders. I don't say that again because I'm a part of the team. I say that as a genuine fan of Benzinga and everything that they stand for. Dollar amount paid and how much in the money. Okay, so I pay either in the money by one step, sometimes two, depending on the ticker, or at money one step below. That's my range, is either in the money by one or two, or at the money one below the in the money. So whatever those strikes typically is what I play. Dollar amount paid. I am more so, I'm trying to play contracts under $5 because I am wanting to. Now again, let me rephrase that. There with a Tesla call, you're going to be paying a lot more. You're going to be paying like $7, $8, $9. But on an average daily basis, my contract, I'm trying to get in at $5 or less. Okay, because I am trying to buy 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, whatever calls. I'm trying to buy a lot of calls because I'm more concerned about capturing a small movement instead of buying a $9 call and flipping it for $11. Like I'm not, that's not what my trading strategy is. So, answer those two questions. The last question, Enrico says, what does that mean in the money? In the money are when your contracts have now the strike price has moved into where it is equal to your contract, and so basically your contract is in the money when you can exercise it and get those shares for the price that you paid on the strike price that you paid for. So that's what in the money means. In the money contracts are the ones that are day trade friendly. You need to be super quick on those. I assume you're exactly right. Yes, you. But you can develop a system that allows you to, extend it a little bit longer. However, you just have to know what you're doing when you enter a trade. When you enter a trade on a weekly contract for one of the big boys, the Teslas, the SPYs, the triple Qs, you have to be prepared for that contract to, number one, immediately go against you, or number two, immediately shoot up 100%, and you know that you need to get out and you need to get your profit. No, there's not a Hall of Fame for this at the end. You're not going to get any bonus points if you held and if you done-handed. Listen, like, I'm all about taking profits. Like, I'm all about, posting screenshots and stuff like that. It's great. However, I'm approaching this of like, listen, like, I'm going to take 30% my gains every day. I'm fine with that. Like, that's what my goal is. My goal is not to hold a meme stock and go up 1,000%. Like, that's not my goal. And listen, like, that's, those are going to come, they're going to happen and stuff like that. But like, be realistic with what the gains are. Be realistic with what trading is going to give you. The market is going to give you what you pull out of it, but the market is going to give you what you put into it on Saturdays and Sundays. If you're trying to get better at trading, you are going to have to spend your weekends studying and charting and learning about trading and spending time, actually looking for tickers. Monday through Friday market hours is the last time that you need to be looking for tickers. You need to already know when you sit down in front of your screens what your alerts are. They need to be set up the night before. There's so many little things that we need to do as traders outside of market hours. And that's what I think a lot of people have forgotten as we've become so flooded with so many people that are trading now, but they just want to do it and not put the work in behind the scenes. That's my advice to you. We'll stop there. Listen, make it a marathon. Let's work hard together. AB.
What's up, Brad? How we doing?
What's up, buddy? How are you, man?
Great.
Hey, did you hear I have 2 modems in my house now?
Wow. No more Wi-Fi problems then?
No. Well, it was hardwire problems too, but it was the modem was dropping connections, which was dropping connection throughout the rest of the house. But now we have 2 modems. We have a main modem and then a backup modem.
So Thomas has his own modem.
Thomas has his own modem in his own room. Yes.
Got it. All right, man. Well, great show. I'll be looking forward to another episode of Technically Options next week.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good weekend. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe. We'll see you next Friday.
Yes, sir. All right. Have a good weekend.
See you, buddy. You too.